Got it.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Kamna.
I am excited to introduce our guest today. His name is Brad Williams, and he hosts the podcast. I'm going to mess up the title, Over 40 Fitness Hacks. And he is a personal trainer, and he's owned a gym for past few years, and he has a business called over40fitnesshacks.com. Right? Is that right?
Yep, yep.
Okay. We have so many questions about fitness and over 40, but before we get there, we want to know a little bit about your background. How did you come to this arena?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Central California. Um, Father was a medical doctor, mom was a nurse, so kind of always had that healthy upbringing, or at least what they thought was healthy at the time, right? And always knew I wanted to go into business for myself. My brother also wanted to, and eventually, after college, doing various jobs, decided to, health and fitness. I was really into going to the gym. I had already got my personal training certification, was training people at my last job before I made the jump, and I was really into it. So I said, let's go for it. So that was 15 years ago. Or 12 years ago, I opened up Evolve Gym, actual brick and mortar gym in Huntington Beach, California. And for the last 13 years, it's just been a roller coaster ride of, running a brick and mortar business, dealing with the state of California, even Orange County. You can't learn stuff in school, what it really is in the real world. So it's kind of the wild, wild west.
Hmm.
But in that whole time, our thing was more of a semi-private training where we would train up to 3, 4 people at a time, help cut the cost down because, after that 2008 market crash, a lot of people couldn't or wouldn't spend on private personal training, which was $60, $100 an hour. So that was
Oh,
kind of our
sure.
yeah, that was kind of our jam, and the over 40 crowd just tended to be the ones who could you know pay for that personal training, and thus we all got really good at dealing with the over 40 crowd and all the aches, injuries, problems from the past, and kind of
Mm.
rewiring their program, from what they learned when they were in school and growing up. And my whole thing is when I started my podcast about 4 years ago, I hit 40, and my thing was like, God, all these years I've been training clients in my younger years, and just come on, old man, you need to push it a little harder, diet a little harder, move a little bit more, and I finally hit 40 and I'm struggling. I'm seeing the
Mm.
aging process like, oh my God, this is like life is against you. Like the whole aging
So
process
now,
is
It's so comforting to hear you say that. It really is. And I think so many people will be comforted by that. So let me get, so you have trained people from, I'm just going to say like early 20s to how old?
yeah, probably like mid 20s all the way to current. I'm 43 right now. And that's just about 3, 4 years ago is when I finally had all these issues. And I actually had a back injury that happened to me about 5 years ago, so about 38, and nothing related to working out or anything. It was literally a freak accident from moving gym equipment. I'm the
oh
gym owner who's
gosh.
trying to do everything. I'm the bathroom cleaner, the accountant, the marketing guru, the website guy, and moving equipment, which is stupid. Hire that out, and end up blowing out my L5S1. Had
Oh,
Oh
like a
no.
serious, like
yeah, that was
serious.
nasty. And went through all the routes of, tried to do it the holistic way first, and it just came down to it was just it's not happening. I got to go the surgery route. But
Oh boy.
since then I've recovered. It was a horrible experience, but great thing to add to the repertoire of, feeling what it's like to be over 40 and knowing that how fragile we are.
Wow.
And I've had to change my whole kind of mindset and game plan of like even how I work out. But
Mm,
that's kind of what I'm moving more towards, even my over 40 clients as well.
okay.
What do you think the biggest difference is generally of being in your 20s and working out versus being over 40 and working out?
Yeah, first is just your ability to recover, your energy
Mm.
levels are off the chain, right? And I think in your 20s, you have all those things going for you, so you don't really listen to your body at all. You know, we just get so used to punishing our bodies with, what we're doing in our social lives and in the gym and stress doesn't even matter, right? We're cramming,
Right.
if you're going through school, you have no problem cramming for exams, procrastinating, doing everything. You can't do that over 40. We
Right.
need
Oh, yeah, no.
we need brain breaks now. And so I think you don't listen. And I very humbly learned my lesson 5 years ago, or just got checked and going through this back injury and recovering and just learning, okay, you need to slow down. I don't need to go to the gym 6 days a week. I don't need the stress of running 3 gyms anymore. I had to fix that as well.
Mhm.
And then just seeing how my body adapted to that, my stress levels gone, my body, once I recovered, just, easing up on how heavy I was doing my workouts, how
Oh,
often and letting
sure.
it recover.
Right.
And just how great I feel now. So I'm like, God, why didn't anyone teach me this when I was in my 20s? But
Right.
that's the
People
story.
in
You
their
wouldn't have
20s don't
listened.
listen much. Yeah.
You wouldn't have
Yeah.
listened.
If I could go
You
back in time and I tell my 20-year-old self, I would have just left.
I know.
So I know
Right.
you gotta learn
Mhm.
it the hard way. It sucks.
Exactly.
How long did it take you to recover from your surgery?
So I actually had 2 surgeries. So 5 or 6 years ago was the first one, and I recovered immediately. It was the best day of my life because I was at like a level 50 pain. It was so horrible.
Oh boy.
Um, but I recovered fast, and I knew, okay, let's do all the work with the physical therapist and everything. And I think it still was too fast. You let your disc
Oh.
heal and not re-herniate, right? So after they let me go after 6 weeks and said, ease into what you were doing before, but they said, you can go back and play in sports. I was playing hockey at the time. And so I thought I was going slow, but literally a year later, re-herniated the disc. I didn't know
Oh.
how
Oh
I
my
could have done
God.
it, but that's the risk you run. It's not like your body doesn't heal it, and the surgeon doesn't put like a plate there to stop it. I went down the same process again. And the second surgery was about 2.5 years ago now. That one was way harder, way rougher recovering
Hmm.
from, because now they had to cut into some bone. They've moved all your nerves to get back in there. So imagine like a little violin in your or harp, and you're playing with those things. Like you can only do it so many times before it's like permanent,
Yeah.
damage to it.
That
Did
sounds so
you,
painful.
yeah. Did you go through a like poor me phase?
No, I mean, I was pissed, but
Yeah.
I've never had that mindset. I don't care what it
Okay.
takes. I was going to find a cure or something. And I'd be up at 3 in the morning because I couldn't sleep, hunched over. I was sleeping on my ottoman in the living room because I needed that 90-degree um ability to put my body in there to even sleep. So I was sitting there searching Google, Reddit, YouTube, just
Yeah.
thousands of hours, just trying to educate myself just on my injury and see if anyone had any hope of recovering it, naturally. And it
I
wasn't
think
looking
that's
good.
so I think that's so important though that you're saying that because I can tell you so many people that are opposite of that and they need to
Hmm.
hear that because they think so many times we get hurt and we're just like, well, I'm just in so much pain I can't do anything or I can't. And I like that you spent hours researching it and doing the work and determined to figure out how to make it better instead of, well, this is just how I'm going to be. Poor me. I can't go for a walk. I can't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And that's the thing. I've learned my entire life, like all the experts out there, or even how much knowledge I have, you never have it all. Not
mm,
everything is the pure absolute truth. There's so many different
yeah.
factors involved. So just don't give up. Keep trying different stuff, hopefully under a little bit of
Mhm.
supervision of someone you trust. And just you start finding things that work that you weren't told in your physical therapy sessions, or your surgeon didn't
Yep.
tell you, or your doctor didn't tell
Mhm.
you. So and that's how I'm
Are
now
you
in that phase.
Yeah.
are you back to, I guess, quote normal? Or
Yeah, I'm back to about 100% or 99%, if you have to say that.
Mhm.
However, I refuse to go back to the heavy weights and the sprinting and all the kind of stuff I used to do, because I
sure.
don't want to have that happen. I feel like I can do it. But now my whole philosophy now, and what I preach to all my clients is, slow down, do a little bit less weight, and focus more on quality, like time under tension and effective reps. That's kind of the newest training principles that are being floated around in the fitness world. And basically, you're just slowing down, do the same workout, just slow it down. Feel every muscle. Like if you're doing a
Oh
squat,
boy.
take like 4 or 5 seconds down, 4 or 5 seconds up, And I promise you, you couldn't even do a third of the weight you were doing before.
Oh, I
Leah's
wish my
making a
son
face.
was
That's why
in
I'm
here.
laughing.
Well, I wish my son was in here right now too. He's 15 and thinks that you should lift like as much as you can. And I'm like, no, but he does, I'm his mom, so he's not gonna listen to me no matter what. But
He's not, because
yeah.
he's gonna have to impress all his friends on how much you can lift
Yes.
comparably to him. So hopefully he
Yeah.
can adopt, like, okay, just add half of your routine with this, and then the other half, go ahead and do your powerlifting, that kind of stuff. At
Yeah.
least you took
That's a
half
good
of it away.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. Okay.
I think I would have taken that if someone had told me.
Yeah.
So when you owned the gyms and when you first started out personal training, what was the biggest challenge that you faced with your clients?
Yeah, so for our clients in Orange County, it was like a weird bubble, and I'm sure there's other cities like it, but we're more of the kind of the we call it noise, but there's just so much stuff to do, so many restaurants, so many bars, and Disneyland's a little bit of ways away, the mountains are a little bit ways away. Everyone's constantly doing stuff, eating horrible food, drinking. So I got all the party, clients that lived in that area of Huntington Beach. So, they were using us more of like life support. We know, they know their
Oh,
health was deteriorating. They weren't willing to give it all up, and we weren't going to make them, but come on, let's get you in a little program, at least start building healthy habits that you're willing to do. And that's kind of always been my mindset. I'm never trying to take away everything from somebody. I'm not that,
Mm-hmm.
Boot camp instructor,
Mm-hmm.
military guy.
So were
I
people
work with them.
were they trying to like out exercise their eating habits and drinking habits?
Yeah, as much as they
Yeah.
could. And then over time, my job
I'm
is to kind of trick them a little bit and getting what I
yeah.
want and picking a little bit healthier options. But, and
I
you
mean,
can
I'm
do a lot
guilty
of,
of that at one
yeah,
time. So I totally relate. Like I'm sure everybody has done that. Well,
yeah.
okay, if I work out for 5 days this week, I can, eat a ton of stuff and drink beer all night or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
And,
sure.
and that's my tagline is, being over 40, and unwilling to give up fighting the aging process, but I'm also unwilling to give up my social life, which in my
Mhm.
world is Saturday, Sunday, right?
mhm.
So, so I
Okay.
kind of put that out in the world, and that's who I'm, getting people interested in, all the
Okay.
kind of the party people.
Okay.
How is it, like how long do you think your average client takes before they see a change?
Probably usually about 3 months. I used to
Okay.
try a little
Okay.
harder, but like I said, pushing too hard on someone way back in the day, it's not sustainable. We
Mm-hmm.
always get the New Year's crowd that comes in and they're like, that's it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. I want to go all out on diet, all out on supplements, all out on 6 days a week. I'm like, no, take it from me. No, no, no. Let's
Right.
just let's just get you on a simple program, get you going, pick one thing you really want to work at and master it. And I'm not going to let you do the other thing until we get to that point, because it's just better to, build those healthier habits slowly.
Mm-hmm. I like the word you keep using, master it. Like I think mastering one thing is so important.
Yeah.
But
Well, that just resonates with me of what my uncle's always been my business mogul person I looked up to. And, in the business world, that was one thing I should have done is master one thing before you go into the next, not try to do everything like I
mm-hmm.
previously mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, I mentioned importance. Why is it important to do strength training? And dumb it down for me. As dumb as you can, make it for
Yeah.
me.
So strength training, that's basically been my world for the last 15 years. It's not the only way to lose weight, but that's also not
Mm-hmm.
why I do it. Strength training, basically it's good for functional fitness, having a skeletal frame that can hold your body, slips, trips, and falls, that's great. And then the other thing is, raising your BMR. That's like our core to my world, your basal
What's
metabolic
BMR?
rate.
Okay.
Your basal metabolic rate. And basically, is how much are you burning with your body just at rest if you're just lying down on a bed doing nothing all day. And
Okay.
so when you build lean muscle up, that number increases. And now, say you were on a diet that you were eating 2,000 calories, now your body's burning 2,200 calories. So now you're at that deficit just by building that muscle. Not to mention you burn calories while you do the workout, and you burn calories when your body is doing its protein synthesis and creating that lean muscle mass. So it's a three-prong approach.
So the more muscle I have in my body, the more I can lay on the couch and burn calories.
And just be a fat burning machine. Yep. So then there's, then there's a thing like we've been talking about, the over 40 crowd. Well, we can't just sit here and beat up our joints and beat up our bodies doing
Right.
this kind of stuff. So I really like calling it more like, picking better options for movement. It may be strength training and weight training or a little bit of it, but just movement in general. So, if someone likes boxing, kayaking, walking, any of that kind of stuff, I just promote movement in general. And,
Okay.
a
Do
lot
you-
of it, oh, go ahead.
No, you finish what you're saying.
I was going to say a lot of us personal trainers, as much as we're, in the gym scene and there every day, after COVID, when we were all at home, we still brought weight equipment home because we had access to it, and we would do our workouts and then do nothing for the rest of the day. All of us gained like 20 pounds. It just shows you it's not just working out and building lean muscle. You can't survive just on that. You have to worry about your diet. You got to worry about movement and moving. And then, all the other things that come with health and fitness.
And would you say moving not 24 hours a day, but a good part of the day?
Pretty much you got to do something every day. So it could be a walk to the grocery store. I got a little trampoline at my house. So when I'm watching football, that's all I'm doing right now lately.
Oh,
And so I'm jumping on my trampoline for 15 minutes while I'm watching football. And then that's it for me. But that stuff starts compounding and you start seeing results just, by having that mindset. I have to do something today. It could be anything.
so we have a lot of our clients who say that they didn't get their workout in, but then when we ask them, what did you do today? Or what did you do? They're like, well, I worked in the yard. I cleaned my house. I walked around. Does that count towards movement?
It counts, but it's just how much more aggressive do you want to get with getting your results?
Okay.
So, if someone's almost every phone has those step counters, or you can get the Fitbits and stuff, right? And it's not like you have to do it all the time, but it'd be a good, nice gauge to see, like, on those days where I'm just working around the house and, I do move a lot, but what am I kind of hitting? And it'd probably be around like 3,000 steps. For someone aggressive that really wants to start seeing the needle moving, you need to be around like 10,000 steps. So if you're doing something a little bit more vigorous, like, boxing or weight training, then, steps probably don't matter because of all the other benefits we talked about. But if you're just going to be doing the walking or the moving around the house, if you can get 10,000 steps, you're in the sweet spot.
So what I would like to do now, if it's okay with you, is Leah and I will just ask you a bunch of questions because I know both of us have a whole bunch, especially after listening to you talk about movement and strength and being over 40. I won't say how old I am, but being over 40, what's different? So Leah, do you want to go first?
No, go ahead, because I just got distracted. So go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
So is there a difference of how you work out over 40 versus not over 40?
I think so. There's definitely people that keep going to their, 60s, 70s, 80s, but I just think the chances of injury goes up. So my whole thing that I put out there is, slow everything down. It'd be nice to adopt the more time under tension philosophy with anything you're doing. And
What
just
does that mean?
So like if you're doing more in the workout scenario where you're lifting weights, cut the weights in half and do the exercises, whatever you're doing, bicep curls, squats, push-ups, and slow it down, suffer. Do that squat 5 seconds down, 5 seconds up. Same thing with a push-up, just hang down there and slowly push yourself back up, having more mind control over what you're doing.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, you couldn't even do a third of the way. But
No.
one, you're getting that, in our world, it's called concentric contraction and eccentric of doing the negative.
Okay.
So you're getting the squat, you're going down, you're getting the eccentric movement, and then you're pushing back up, standing up. That's a concentric movement. So you're getting both of those. Normally when someone's doing squats, they're just repping them out in like under a second. So you're not getting the beauty of both worlds. So one, you get that. Two, you ease up on your joints, ease up on your spine. These bodies, I always say these are the worst engineered bodies. We look like we're going to make it to like, past 120, 130, but these bodies can't do it. So
Yeah.
we got to start now, in our 40s for that long game if we think we're going to live that long.
Those
Okay.
slow exercises are very painful.
Yeah. And
Right.
Pilates is already like all of that, and I do enjoy Pilates, but that's, I also like the strength training part of what I do as well. So
Okay.
How do you fit, like in your ideal workout plan? Where does cardio fit in? Where does strength training can fit in? And do you need a set amount of time for each?
it depends on what you like. Obviously, if you hate doing strength training, there's other things to pick. But for me, I've gotten down my workouts. Back in the day, I used to do six workouts a week. Now I'm doing 3 workouts a week, 30 minutes each. And I'm
Oh,
pumping. Like I literally move from, station to station to station to get to maximize my 30 minutes, but I have a hard cutoff at that 30-minute mark. Um,
Hmm.
Easy on the joints. Another thing besides the time under tension is what they call effective reps. So I only got like 1 or 2 shots at the exercise I'm doing because I only have 30 minutes and I want to try to get 6 or 7 exercises in. When you're doing your push-ups or whatever, if you can do 3 more, you have to do the 3 more because that's when you're getting your body to have that stimulus hormonal response to like, oh my God, this guy is suffering. We need to grow more muscle because he's fighting through that pain. And
Um,
it just takes time to work at that. And there's certain people just, no, not for me, and that's cool because the other part is if you quit, it's game over. So we got to find something
mm-hmm.
that you
that's a
like.
great
So
point. Yeah. And I was just thinking you almost need somebody to be like, one more, just do
yeah,
one
exactly. And
more.
that's the world of personal trainers. That's where
Right.
I fit in the
Right.
last 15 years. So we help with that. But other than that, cardio, I basically do circuit training. So I'm moving quickly. I throw in some treadmill, like quick little 5-minute intervals on the
Mhm.
treadmill. So I'm never stopping. So I'm getting a little bit of cardio from that. But other than that, like I said, movement every day. Like I'll put a weight vest on and go walking, or I'll do my trampoline. I'll do sprints on my trampoline because I really like
Oh,
the trampoline because it takes the shock off your spine.
Yeah.
sure.
And they said, it takes anywhere from 50 to 70% of the load off. So I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't comfortable sprinting or running anymore because of all the back injuries. Now I can do it without worrying about it on this trampoline.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then, like I
Is
said, I like
it
Pilates. I'll throw in a Pilates session every now and then.
is the little trampoline better on your knees too?
Oh yeah, everything. And then on top of that, there's the cheap Amazon trampoline that, is okay, but then there's better ones out there that take even more of the load off. They're like
Really?
certain, I don't even know how they do it. Bungee systems, I think.
Huh.
But
That's
for
a
me in
really
my
good
world, I
idea
have to
for
worry about
watching
that.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just watching
that's
TV and just jumping around.
yeah. So like I said, I'm watching football, or I'll watch music videos with my daughter. So we'll sit there and pick a music video, and we'll do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds
Hmm.
off, and just jump in with each other.
Wow.
I know.
So
So
so my workouts sometimes is I like doing the strength training, but it's not my favorite thing.
mhm.
I'd rather do cardio. So if I do, like today, I did 45 minutes of cardio and then about 10 minutes of legs. Is that sufficient if I'm working hard, or do I need to do more? Or is it?
So just when you're doing your legs, making sure that, you gave everything you could in that
Mhm,
session. You didn't just hit a number because you said, I'm going to do 10 reps and you did 10, or like, that's it. Well, could you have done more? And if you could have, you probably should have had a little bit more weight on you.
mhm.
And like I said, if you slow it down, that'll help out. You probably couldn't do that many reps going that slow. But what's
So slowing it down, even if you're doing like a 3 pound weight.
yeah, exactly. Like for me, doing 3 pound weights and doing, straight arm shoulder flies and just slowing that down.
Oh,
Oh my
sounds
God, the burn
terrible.
on
But
there. And then
yeah.
you fight it. You do everything you can. But I only do like 2 sets of every exercise because I've, so much stimulus in those 2 sets that I don't need to work out, that muscle group right now anymore. And
Did you have like, sorry, I keep interrupting you because I
oh,
have
no
so many
worries, go ahead.
questions. Go ahead. Did you have like an arm day or a leg day and a core day? Like, how do you break it up, or do you do it all at once?
So I'm more of a fan right now, because I'm happy where I'm at, doing just full body workouts. So
Okay.
I'll do either full bodies, or right now, because I had a little bit fun from the holidays and football, I decided to add in a fourth day right now. So I'm doing upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. And I'll always
Okay.
throw just a tiny bit of core in each one. And when I do legs, I tend to do my arms with my legs. But on
Okay.
upper body day, I do back and chest, back and chest, back and chest, like 6 or 7 exercises.
Mhm.
Another thing with cardio too, at least I like to promote at least one day a week of doing more high intensity cardio. And the issue with that is, when as we start aging and slowing down, and everyone's genetics are different, but all the mitochondria in your cells, the powerhouse of your cells, starts dwindling. And those are your fat burning machines. You have your liver, which you got to take care of with diet and all that. That's a huge fat burning machine. But all the mitochondria in your cells. So if you start losing those in your cells just from time, and you stop stressing your body, um, maybe your diet's not as good, those it starts dwindling. And that's why, as we get over 40, we start seeing this change. And like I said, I was hitting 40 and I'm like, I'm still doing 6 days a week. I got to run now longer, I got to lift heavier or go longer in the gym. And it's just why is this happening? Well, it's because of that. I'm not moving on the other days and in my spare time, because more of a desk worker now, and
Mhm.
doing what I was doing. So you start stimulating that more with high intensity, and people think high intensity, oh God, CrossFit or something like that. No, high intensity just means getting your heart rate up to a certain level. You can Google a scale, but up to 150 beats per minute. And for me, I'll sprint on that trampoline, or I'll fast walk with that weight vest, or there's a bunch of different band workouts and body weight workouts where you can go real fast for 30 seconds, take a break, and then just keep doing however many rounds you can do. And that's been shown to like boost your mitochondrial levels, back to
Hmm.
hopefully your young 30s. And
Wow, we
since
have
So,
it's
we have a client that's just trying 1 minute jogs on the treadmill.
yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah,
Like,
but
and
so the whole
that's,
point is stress your body hard for that 30 seconds or 1 minute, and then you have
yeah.
to give it a break for your body to be like, oh my God, we need to respond to this. We need to give you energy. And then they signal, we need to start building more
Yeah.
mitochondria, because look what this person's doing to us. And
so
so that's
you're saying that as we age, our metabolism slows down? Is that's a fact, or is it a myth?
no, that's a fact. So the
Okay.
aging process sucks, and it's going to get us anyways. So basically, how far can you push this out is the name of the game, right?
Right. So wait,
And
I
so
wanted
Yeah.
to just say, because you're a perfect person to ask this question.
mhm.
You have worked out since, what would you say? When did you start working out, would you say?
Probably, what was that? Probably
Like,
junior high, like 13 years
okay.
old.
All right. So, okay. And you have worked out consistently since that age.
Yeah, never
And
stopped unless
you,
it was like a 2 week break or I got
or
injured.
you had your injured. Okay. And you have noticed a difference in after you hit a certain age in
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
way,
saying. As soon as I hit I started getting injuries in sports like at 32, and then
yeah.
at 35, other problems and allergic reactions. I talked to Kamna on my show about all the different allergies that started hitting me at 35. But probably around 38 was when I'm like, what is this? Like this little tough down here, when I used to have, not a men's fitness six pack, but I've held that thing for a long time. And
And
now I'm
you've
starting to see
been
this pudge
consistent.
up.
Yep.
And
And you've
and
been,
then I started increasing even more, and that's not the right thing to do. I'm older now. I need more recovery time. I need to have better quality
Oh,
diet. So those are the only
mm,
ways to beat the game here, to push it out as long as you can.
so
better
a lot of
diet
our
and more recovery time. Are your that's
And
what
more
you're,
and more
and high
stimulus.
intensity,
That's why
yeah.
you got to
yeah.
change up your workouts, do a little bit of high intensity, which
I'm
I
screwed.
hated high intensity. But
I'm
there's
screwed.
yeah, there's so many options though. You can, as long as you can pick a few of the things, you got some hope.
Yeah. What was your
Um,
question, Common? I
I
know I
was gonna
interrupted
ask,
you.
no, we're just too excited to talk about fitness, but a lot of our clients have injuries, whether it's a lot of females have frozen shoulder, or a lot of people have knees issues where they have knee replacements, or arthritis, or just general aging related issues. How is working out? How should they work out?
For those people, and I also join the crowd for that, of injuries. Basically, I need to know what their physical therapist, their doctor, their surgeon
Mm,
recommends And then I can help them and watch them do those exercises they were recommended. Um, but there's still so many different parts to your body that are working. We can still work those out as long as the doctor approves that they're not gonna, our whole body's a kinetic chain. I don't want to be working out their calves or something if that's gonna mess something up for someone who had a hip injury and the therapist doesn't want
Hmm.
me doing that. But my biggest thing with like medical doctors, they were like, "Oh no, you need to take a break off everything." And I was like, "Well, they just have a shoulder injury. What's wrong with working core and legs and all that?" And if I really push on them, they'll be like, "Well, I guess that's okay." Well, why are you telling people to stop moving?
Right.
If keep going, you can never stop. This is a losing game after 40. We need to keep moving, keep stimulating, and you just work to your disadvantages, and hopefully you can heal those or cure something. But you got other things you can do.
I like that you're saying that because it's even something we should be asking our own doctors. Like, if you have a foot injury, like, well, okay, so you don't want me walking, but can I still do like chair cardio or chair arm exercises? Or like, I think we should be asking that. I think if I'm being honest, we want that pass.
Yeah, that's the
I
thing.
want my doctor to be like, no, you can't walk, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then I come home and I'm like, well, I can't do anything, which is BS. And I know it. But I like that you call this out and you're like, "Well, ask your doctor, can you do this instead or that instead?"
Yeah, and then I'll send
No.
them with pictures. Show your doctor this. There's no load on your foot if you're doing like a leg extension or leg curl. You're like, we can't do this. You're sitting down, and then I'll always come back and be like, oh no, he approved those. Those are okay. I was like, all right,
See?
so let me take over. We'll keep you off your feet if someone had like an ankle injury, and I know what to do from there, just from experience. So
Yeah. Wow. Mm.
So if someone is like over 50 wanting to start a exercise program, sorry, over 40.
mhm.
I don't know why I said 50. I guess that's about me. But if a person is over 40 wanting to start exercise, is there some place you recommend they start?
I really highly recommend going to a physical therapist first because they are
Oh.
just so much better at screening than us personal trainers. They just have the better, schooling for that.
Hmm.
Um, and then after that, they need someone to kind of teach them at least a couple sessions. So usually gyms always have free sessions. You got to kind of sift through the different trainers. I
Mhm.
like the private gyms because I ran private gyms and I feel like we always had the more tenured veteran trainers because they always wanted to go off on their own versus the chain gyms, they were hiring anybody. So you got all the young ones and they could have their schooling and all that, but experience is experience. So,
Mhm.
go with what you're comfortable, but it helps to have someone in the field as an accountability person, at least for a few sessions, just to get you going, and then it's up to you.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's time, money, whatever works for the person. But
Leah
other than
and I
that,
had this. I'm sorry, I keep doing it too.
yeah, what no worries. Other than that, a lot of the stuff I get is like going on YouTube and vetting out people and
Oh,
people I
okay.
kind of look up to, and you can start building off that, but it's still different than someone being right next to you and they can 100% see if you have poor form or something. But
Mhm. It's a good point.
I I was just going to share that Leah and I have had this conversation where the trainer at her gym, I think he owns that gym now, but he coincidentally was a trainer at a bigger gym where I went, where he was my trainer. And when he was there, I felt like it was all about the sell and try this program, try this thing, try this. And it discourages you from working out because you're like, I'm already spending so much money. I don't want to do all these 10 extra things. So I think your point about a private gym versus a big gym, it's kind of important for someone, especially if they're just working out, just starting to
Mhm.
work out.
yeah, and the for the trainers that are still training at that chain gym, you're like, man, he's that person's been there forever. It's because they're a great salesperson, so they've got that
Uh,
going for them. Because there's no reason the trainer shouldn't eventually go off on their own. They make so much more money. They can set their
Mm.
schedule. There's no stress from getting pushed to be more salesy. So, just in
That's
my
a
opinion.
yeah, no, and I bet you're yeah, I should see that. Yeah.
so your recommendation is to get with either a physical
Therapist.
trainer or a therapist first
First,
to
just get
set
a
up
screen,
some,
yeah.
yeah. to get some things foundationally and then move into doing stuff on your own?
Yeah, doing stuff
Or
on your own, maybe some online program, go get a trainer. You could go do like not like a boot camp type class. Those are a little
mm,
riskier for the over 40 because they don't really watch everyone's form in those. The
oh,
20-year
That's
okay.
olds,
good to
30-year
know.
olds kind of get away
Yeah.
with those. But if you do a little bit more education on your own first, then you know what you're doing and you can go join those boot camps and have a little bit safer time doing it.
Okay.
But
Oh,
it's
that makes
basically
sense.
just finding something that you enjoy.
Is there a trick to maintain consistency, especially in the beginning when everything starts hurting?
Yeah, I think if for someone just starting out, like it's better just to do a full body workout one day a week, and
Oh,
then maybe do that a
I
few.
like that.
Yeah. So and after that, you like it, you enjoy it, add a second one in, and
Baby
still
steps. Let's
baby
go
step.
back to the one day.
Yeah, everything is baby
One
steps.
day full body.
That's it.
I
I can
wasn't
do that.
expecting that answer. I really
Me
like
neither, and
that.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but that's what I'm telling you. You start helping someone get into this, being immersed in health and fitness and helping them make better choices.
Mhm.
Not being that bully trainer. You need to come in here and grind the weights. No, well, if you
Right.
like doing yoga or Pilates, that's great. Go do that. Maybe we'll just do one day a week here. And there's so many different options, and you're eventually going to get to the same result. Because I'm telling you, once you start streamlining these things with your diet, your sleep, your stress, like I said, hitting the gym 6, 7 days a week is not going to do anything. But when you start taking care of the overall picture, look at me, 3 days a week, 30 minutes. That's insane. And I still have the body of when I was
Yeah.
in my early 30s.
You gave me an aha moment too, because you've
Yeah.
said from the beginning when we started talking to you the word master. And like you got to master something like, and I'm like, well, why don't I just master working out one day a week? That's it.
That's it.
Like master one day. I don't master 3 days for 5 minutes a day. Like I need to I like the thought of just keep doing one day a week and master it until it
Yeah.
becomes that every single Monday I just do this or whatever day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep. And for me, this month, I did a podcast episode about it. This month, mine is more of inflammation. I'm so sick of all these different allergies, food allergies. And I need to listen to my body and I need to start sifting through this stuff. I know the real bad
Mhm.
ones. I have a really bad milk allergy and I'm allergic to NSAIDs like Motrin. But
Mhm.
different foods, like I swear to God, I'm somewhat allergic to onions, tomatoes, beef. And actually, my mom just gave me this Kaiser report from 2015. And I remember doing a blood test, allergy test back then. And I'm not, besides the milk allergy, I didn't really think any of the other ones mattered. I went back on there and they're like, oh my God, I scored an incredibly high reaction to beef. And I've been suspecting beef for the last 3 years.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
I'm done with this.
Really?
So now I'm like, I got to start process by elimination and start eliminating the stuff. Cause that's one thing is
You
I've learned
feel
is
inflamed?
when you're inflamed, you cannot lose weight. It's just like being stressed. If your cortisol levels are that high, you cannot lose weight. So you're just wasting your time with all these workouts and running and everything. So
Oh, yeah.
it's just so not fair. All these things have
And
to
it
be in
and it
line.
like and you ate meat or beef when you were in your 20s and it didn't affect you.
Yeah, because I didn't listen.
That's a good point too.
So,
Yeah.
So
do you advocate for any diet changes when you're training somebody?
I like to start with this, like I said, the workout first. Let's do one day a week, get you to 2 days a week. I won't even mess with someone's diet until they've done like a month and a half. And then I like tweaking stuff where, can we at least eliminate the processed stuff? Can you start doing a little bit of intermittent fasting? Doesn't have to be crazy
Mhm.
fasting, but just kind of tighten your time zones so you're not snacking all morning, all night. And then after that, I've always been an advocate of just there is no right diet. It's just what's the one that feels good to you. And
Mhm.
like for me, I don't even know what my diet's called. It's low carb, I guess, but it's like elimination diet. I'm trying to eliminate everything I'm freaking allergic to because
Mhm.
I'm just that type of person. My doctor said he's never seen anyone that's scored so many bad marks on a food allergy test.
Wow.
So, so you
Oh,
got, this is what I got. Who knows?
yeah.
Maybe I got maybe I had leaky gut and I didn't even know it, but at this point in my
Right.
life, just that's fine. Just start taking some of these things off, listen to your body. All these other foods I'm putting in and programs that I'm doing, they feel good. So you just go with that. And I've
Mhm.
just been on a roll.
Do you ever
Mm.
feel like, oh man, I have to get rid of all of these things out of my diet and just like feel rebellious about that? Or are you just sick of feeling not good?
Hypothetically, are you asking that, Kamna, or are you?
See, I've never been a foodie. I don't even care about food,
Okay.
so it's a little bit easier
Okay.
for me. Mine is more of, the college party guy, beers and drinks on weekends and that kind of stuff. So, if anything, those will be the last things you take away from me. So, I'll give up anything prior to that.
Okay. Well, and I think once you feel good, you really realize I don't really need it. It's
Yeah,
not that
exactly.
important. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you're
Yeah.
also saying what it sounds like that you're still going to have things in your rotation that you love. You're not getting rid of everything.
No, yes, like I said, I eat berries, nuts, I eat chicken, fish, turkey, all those are good. Pork, beef
I
seems to
was
be a problem.
I was
So I
focusing on the beer. I don't know.
Oh,
I think
so
I
yeah,
heard.
so and that's the thing. I had to start tightening up my game because I can't, I couldn't get away with, 3, 4 days or occasionally throughout the week. Like if you're
Yeah.
my thing is if you're gonna, you hate the word cheat days, common, but I still use them. But if you're gonna do some of those things, you gotta just like intermittent fasting, you gotta keep those in a tight,
Yeah.
time frame. So for
Yeah.
me, what am I doing Monday through Friday? I'm working, I'm helping my daughter out, doing stuff, my wife out. I mean, I don't have to have it there. Maybe if there's a football game on, but most of the fun time is on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm like, that's my treat.
Right.
So I, within reason, have a little bit of fun Saturday and Sunday, and I can maintain what I got. If I want to
Mhm.
start, if I want to
Yeah.
get to the next level, like right now I'm 209, I want to break 200, and I'll just be utterly ripped. That's what in my mind I think I'll be. But I either have to give up some of those weekends, or I'm going to have to start
Yeah.
the dieting a little harder Monday through Friday and all that. So,
That
everything's
makes
about,
sense.
yeah. So everything's all
I
about tweaking that, getting, and then I'm starting to get better sleep. I'm going to bed like at 9:30 now. I never used to do that.
Leah's
I love
a
my
big
sleep.
advocate for sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the most important thing. I really do. But that's another whole podcast episode.
Yeah.
So do you take clients over Zoom, or how do you, if
Yeah.
someone doesn't live in San Diego?
Yeah. So I basically just, like you said, Zoom. I do either online coaching, just like we're doing right now, in either
Mhm.
15 or 30 minutes sessions. Some people only need once a month or, once every other month. It's just I have a plethora of all different clients that use me for whatever time frame works for them.
Okay.
Or I do a monthly thing where I'll program out all the workouts, and it's a online personal training software that has like videos and notes and that kind of stuff, and I can program that out for people as well.
So if somebody isn't, I don't know what the word would be, but like, let's say you don't want to go, I don't want to go to a gym. I don't feel
Hmm.
comfortable or whatever the situation. And you suggested a personal trainer to show you some things.
Hmm.
That's where you would come in and you would do it through Zoom even. Like
Yeah,
I could
exactly.
be like, hey, I would love, this is my equipment. What can I do? And you could be that personal trainer. So I don't ever have to go into a gym.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I can program it all the workouts for just home-based workouts, bands, that kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
then if you feel comfortable, okay, I know what I'm doing. Okay, perfect. And you can just do check-ins and stuff. So I've got clients that do
Okay.
that as well.
Very cool.
That sounds very doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
The least path of resistance. That's what I've always tried to do for
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm not really prevalent on social media like we talked about, but my
Hmm.
website, over40fitnesshacks.com, and that's 40, not spelled out. And the same thing for my podcast, Over 40 Fitness Hacks. And that's
Awesome.
that's pretty much where
And
I'm at.
the really good thing about that I love about your podcast, they're like 10-15 minute segments. So I was saying that you can listen to them while you're like brushing your teeth or making your
Doing your
coffee, and
hair.
then
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I try to one week do more episodes, kind of like all the little biohacking stuff I'm doing to try to tweak my stuff. And then the next week I bring on like a guest on the show, a little bit more professional setting. So, someone can listen to me and I've got it all tagged on there. They can skim through, look at the titles, pick what works for them.
Awesome. Very good idea.
Yeah. Well, thank you
So,
so much for
yeah.
just giving us so much and actually doable information.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I think it's very practical and very reasonable to start kind of slow, but with some knowledge, and then build up to where what
One
you-
day, one day.
One
I'm
day.
gonna
Doesn't
do,
have to be
I'm gonna
today.
master one day.
Master
my
one
goal.
thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna master one day. So thank you for that.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thanks for having me on your show. This has been awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Enjoy
nice to
your
meet you as well.
weather. And I'm very
Will do.
jealous as I say that to you.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.